Hey everybody, how's it going? So, yesterday I watched Bottoms. You heard of Bottoms? It's the contemporary teen sex comedy for our age, Directed by Emma Silgman and written by her as well, and also Rachel Sennott did some writing for it. Oh, this is just one of the characters in it. We're gonna spoil it, by the way. We're gonna spoil Bottoms. But if you haven't seen it and this doesn't convince you to watch it, that little animated GIF right there, then you can stick around for the spoilers if you want, if you don't care. But I recommend it, especially if you like, you want to have you like those old sex comedies from your youth, I guess, which is kind of funny to say because you're not supposed to be watching those when you're young, when you're super young. But what I mean is, it's like a high school comedy from like the 80s or 90s, but if it was made today, you see, with the some more modern, contemporary politics, the culture of today. Although like it's kind of also feels like it might be, it could be set today, but it could also be set kind of like before smartphones, like in the 2000s almost, because they're not very on their phones all the time, which is nice for a movie. Who wants to watch a movie with people on their phones all the time? Anyway, we're gonna spoil it. It's good. I recommend it. You'll like it. You'll like it. Actually, you might not like it if it's if you're going in for more relaxed laughter. If you want, let me give you an analogy you might understand, or a comparison, right? To Mean Girls. If people have compared Bottoms to Mean Girls, I mean, just look at this. Look at this. That's like a Mean Girl, right? So you would think, oh, this is just a modern Mean Girls. Well, remember that scene in Mean Girls where they're in the cafeteria? Let me see if I can remember this. They're in the cafeteria, right? And suddenly, I forgot what triggered this, but it's like this fantasy sequence where all the girls start, barking and growling like animals. Am I remembering this right? They're like, this is for real. I'm honest. I'm being honest here. This is what happened in the movie. If you haven't seen Mean Girls, they turn to animals and they start attacking each other like animals, jumping around on fours, right on top of the tables or something. What's like that vibe? Think of that vibe sprinkled throughout Bottoms, and then it just grows exponentially. And that's the kind of vibe you should expect. Expect that with some more violence, because it's about these girls starting a fight club in order to get laid. So that's the premise. Two high school girls have a crush. One has a crush on this girl. The other girl has a crush on the other girl, and they want to have sex. So they start a fight club. It sounds weird, I know. They start a fight club in order, to get more intimate, I guess. But really, they just want sex, and so it's that's the idea. That's the idea. It's funny. So we're gonna spoil it. We're gonna spoil it, folks. Tune out now. Get out of here if you haven't seen it or you don't care about spoilers. There it is, folks. Let's take this GIF out of here for a second, and let's get into the movie. What is happening here? We are like all the way over here now. what we want to do is get to the beginning. Okay, so just a typical high school film. Friends hanging out in their rooms, getting dressed to go out, go to a cool party or something. In this case, they're going to a carnival. These two here, we got Io and we got Rachel, right? Rachel Sanat and Io Adibri. They're really good, and one of the best things about this movie is just the performances all around. Like, it gets over the top, but then their performance is still grounded at times, so it's like you can still feel that weighty emotion, along with those over the top, almost slapstick screwball comedy beats that you would see in like the 80s or 90s comedy movies. Even maybe even like a not another teen movie. Have you guys seen Not Another Teen Movie? I think it still holds up in a way. I mean, actually, I'm sure there's a bunch of problematic issues with it, but I remember watching it like a few years ago, and it was pretty funny. But this is different. This is like has a more of a clear perspective, and that being Emma Seligman's and Rachel's perspective, which is and the performers bring there's a lot of improvising here. There's definitely a queer, more women-focused, women-led perspective of raunchy sex comedies, teen comedies, all that salacious stuff, right? But this movie doesn't even get that super sexy or anything. I mean, they talk about sex all the time, but it feels like the way teens would, maybe a little bit more exaggerated, but that's part of the style of the movie. It's like it's not really in the real world. It has that campy element where almost magical, realistic, like almost like magical realism, but not quite, But here we're at the carnival, right? So this scene here is a typical scene you would think of, these teens trying to flirt, trying to say something clever to the person they really like or they have a crush on. And it's pretty awkward. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are into the awkward comedy, like I'm not. I don't really like Napoleon Dynamite. That's an awkward comedy movie I can think of off the top of my head. I haven't watched that in a while, but it's not like, even at the time when it came out, which is like 15 years ago, it wasn't like my bag of tea. And some people don't like that stuff. I don't particularly like it either, but this is like peak awkward comedy here. This one's actually good, and it's only in this scene really that it gets like that. There's definitely awkward moments throughout, but this is the most awkward it gets. And of course, they're freaking teenagers, so of course they're awkward. Like, I think we can all remember saying weird things that are nonsensical because we don't know what to say, or we trip over our words. We say things we shouldn't say. Yeah, it gets awkward, and you feel it. But it's also so funny as well. And part of it, why it's so funny, is because it just leans into it. It leans into it all the way, the awkwardness, and then it leans into the theatrics of it all, including the, the football player here getting run over, just bumped really, and screaming. And then we do have some slurs here, because this movie, it's not playing it safe, which I appreciate. But it's not punching down, which is what a lot of movies maybe in the 80s did, but it still like has that edge to it that's like, yeah, we're gonna go there and we're gonna be a little bit messy, but it's not like I said, it's not punching down, it's not like mean spirited. It actually feels pointed in towards towards these jocks here. The just like the manly bravado of it all, of the men. Like really, all the men in this are just ridiculous, right? But so are a lot of the women, which is pretty cool too. It's just it's not about like simplistic black and white battle of the sexes type of movie. It's not that. And it's funny just how like uninterested these teachers and principals are at uninterested in these students, really. Like they just want to get them out of their hair. They're an annoyance, which is a heightened reality, but truer to life than a lot of the teen or high school shows where like there's that good old teacher trying to guide the student into becoming an honor roll kid, and then support them all the way to college somehow. Like, this is not that. In a way, it's kind of like more the Ferris Bueller type of idea of the teachers and principals not being very good. Although this is here, the adult figures are a lot more apathetic in general, not really concerned with messing up their lives. Just the kids to them are just like annoyances. And up to this point, it's not like that super wild. This movie is still somewhat grounded. Yeah, there was the theatrics at the carnival, but it's not that crazy, right? But in this scene here, which I'm going to rewind a bit, there is all the way in the back some footballer in a cage, and I almost didn't see that. I don't know I don't think I saw it like in the first frame it showed up in, but eventually you notice this, and probably in the scene, and they don't address it at all. There's no so it's teasing a little bit of like, oh, there's something off in this world. This world isn't, you're not supposed to think this is reality. You're not supposed to think like this is representative of reality. It's a heightened comedy, and if you can't get behind that, then it's you're not gonna like the movie. Of course, that cage football player comes in later, much later. So here they've convinced the principal to start a fight club to get out of them being suspended, and pretty funny. And we got Hazel here's other character who's kind of just wants to hang out with them, wants to be friends with them, and then it ends up being a pretty good friend by the end, right? It's a happy ending in that way. Yay! We'll get into Hazel in a bit. And so they start the Fight Club. Yeah, it's just, this is the point where like you realize, okay, this is actually going to be a violent movie, because they start actually kicking each other and you see blood and stuff. And so at this point, you kind of know what you're expected, but it still surprised me by the end, like all the blood on the football field, the killing. You're not. Death isn't. It's kind of played off lightly here, right? Same with other hard topics, but it's again, it's not punching down or anything. So it's actually, they even, they have the guts enough to joke about rape and the sexual assault and stuff like that, but in a way that is more revealing to society rather than denigrating the victim or anything, So, like later on, or maybe it was earlier, they get in that circle, and then after the fight, or maybe before the fight, and she just bluntly asks, Rachel Sennot's character bluntly asks, PJ is her name, right? She's like, has anyone been raped? And here it is. This is the funny part. She just says that her stepfather wants Friday movie nights all the time. She's annoyed about that. And then, they actually start talking more serious stuff. And this girl right here to the right talks about how the police won't do anything about her stalker. The stalker apparently can't do anything until the stalker tries to kill her, and then the police can be involved. Which is true, So it's like a funny situation that isn't really funny, but it's funny the way they deliver it. And that's comedy, folks. Kaya Garber is in here. She's Cindy Crawford's daughter. I haven't seen her too much, but she did a pretty good job. She does as well. And then we also got this guy here. We got Marshawn Lynch, who's a football player. I didn't even know about Marshawn here, but I guess he's a big football player, and he actually improvised a lot of his stuff. He's actually pretty funny, and he plays like this careless teacher who is bro pilled. What would you call it? The manosphere pilled, and really hates women and stuff. But it's like it's done in a humorous way, where he's like going through it. He's like trying to teach about feminism, and then he's like really upset about his divorce, and that's what's triggering everything and making him think that all women are evil and stuff. And then I do kind of wish there was a better resolution with him. Like, he was a funny character because he was kind of the butt of the joke a lot of times. And at the end, I think his turning point is when the girls beat up the other team, right? They actually murder them. Then he's like, And he's like, oh yeah, I knew women were great all this whole time. And so I guess that's the moment where he actually grew as a character. But it was like a quick throwaway line that was still like funny, but it would have been nice to have a denouement or something. Not just about with his character, but with other characters too. Like it felt like the end was a bit like a little bit rushed, and like at the very ending we could have used some more beats, some more padding, so we can like actually resolve the character arcs of different characters a little better. But again, this movie isn't super interesting in following the rules, is it? So I don't know. Maybe Emma just wanted to be a little bit, wanted to end it at the height of the film, the height of the climax, pretty much, and just let the viewers kind of imagine what happens next, you know. And how do you like really tie up the idea of them killing the other football team at the end there, right? Like up to that point, they haven't really been killing anybody. They've just been lying about it, and, you know. So it would be interesting, denouement or ending there, to have them like, oh yeah, so the police are investigating or something, or there's been recording of it. People recorded it, and now they're on the run or something. Or maybe the whole town just didn't care, and they go back to normal, and they're like, yeah, we killed them, and then maybe it's that. Maybe that could have happened. But that's up to the viewer to decide. I don't think this movie needs a sequel. There's no need for a sequel. And then they go full terrorist here, right? And just blow up the jock's car. Yeah. So one thing this movie doesn't do, though, which I have read some. Where did I read that? I read an article about it. But the idea that it's a raunchy comedy that's not afraid to get raunchy with the jokes, but there really isn't like actual sex in the movie, like you would have seen maybe in an older movie that this calls back to, you know. And I think Emma, the director, even said that, you know, there should be more like queer sex in films because we're so used to seeing just heterosexual sex all the time. But I guess she didn't want to like, you know, gravitate too close to maybe being too objectifying the queer sex in the film, and also they're high schoolers and stuff. It's like it, you know, I makes it, like her reasoning makes sense. But of course, these actors are, I think, in their late 20s. A lot of them, right? Um, but you know, I don't think it's that big of a deal, anyways. Like I didn't. It's okay without sex scenes, you know. But I can see the argument that, you know, more queer representation in regards to sexuality wouldn't hurt either. So, you know. But overall, it wasn't the worst decision. So this is like where it got a little bit too gruesome for me. Like I was like, oh shit, I don't want to see that, and I didn't expect that. Of course, this is the point where it's like, okay, things are going down. That the truth is revealed. They were lying about Juvie and killing people, and now Josie and her girl crush, whose name is I forgot. I was gonna say girlfriend, but she isn't their girlfriend. Isabel, played by Havana Rose Louis. Um, now it's done with that. They're done with that now. She totally ruined their relationship there. For now. But yeah, it gets pretty violent. Hazel gets beat up. And things go back to, although they're still friends. But this is at the lowest point. It's the lowest point of the main characters. So it does have, it does follow some of the formula of these typical movies, right? There's a goal they want to reach, like they want to get with the girl, get with the guy, the protagonist in these movies, and then there's a lie involved, usually something going on, and then there's a big reveal, and now everything's just that's the act 3 transition there, the big reveal, and then the character's at its lowest point, and then they get the sage advice from the once babysitter, right? Who was once referred to as Gay Yoda, apparently. I guess because she was professor-like, she was masterly-like to them, teaching them the ways of the queerness. But she's pretty funny. And then they get back together and they apologize. We actually have an apology scene, a nice apology scene. You could, one that you could expect from a teenager. Although a lot more. I mean, shit. I doubt most teenagers would even apologize like this, right? Maybe misremembering my youth. Maybe I should think better of teenagers. Anyways, and they come together here, even though they're all like have different viewpoints and stuff, and they come together in solidarity. She even says, "Hey, even though you're a black Republican, you're still the smartest person here." To that one girl there. So, disregard their high school political views. We gotta work together to freaking save the school, right? And save this jock guy from being killed by pineapple juice, because they're actually going for something noble, and that is preserving a life, right? No matter if they're asshole popular kids. But when it comes to the other team, it's all right. But in these movies, it's like it's always the big game and the two rival schools. It's all about the football game, but here it's let's crank it up times 12, and let's actually literally kill the other team, because the long tradition of this town, this school, is that every so often that team kills a player from this school. A cycle of violence. And so did they really learn anything, these kids? No, they're just high school kids. Like, you can't expect that much from them. They're just repeating the cycle of violence. But this time, with solidarity, with women's solidarity. So, you know, baby steps, baby steps. And of course, they're not straight, or she's not straight. And in fact, they were poisoning the sprinklers with pineapples. What the fuck? They like kill someone with a sword in this. It's like super graphic. Like this is the point where they lose probably a lot of the audience who's like, what the fuck is going on? But it could also, I think a lot of people are like, well, why not? Let's go all out, you know. Yeah, maybe we could have used some more character growth with, or some more perspective from Isabel here. I've seen some people complain that she's just like doesn't have much character beyond being just attractive. But I think the performance she gives actually adds more nuance to her character. You know, even without saying anything, just like the look she gives to Josie. So I think Havana does elevate her character a little more. But yeah, they get back together. Yay! And then PJ and Hazel made out to for distraction's sake, but maybe they'll start dating. Who knows? And that bomb finally went out. So yeah, I wish there was maybe, like, I get that that's the height of the movie and it ends there, but it would have been nice to see like a little bit more, an extra scene, a denouement, just spend a little more time with these characters. Because at the end, I ended up liking these characters. I want to spend more time with PJ and Josie here. And then they go into bloopers, which, when's the last time you've seen a movie with bloopers? I haven't seen a movie in bloopers in forever, I feel like. Was it in high school when I watched movies with bloopers more? Am I just like sad and old now where I don't watch movies with bloopers anymore? But no, seriously, there haven't been movies that come out with bloopers in a while, right? So it's good to see. Good to see like a movie with some like, you know, throwback sensibilities, but still like feeling like relevant of today, and from an actually funny, a messy, funny feminist perspective, you know, queer perspective as well. So and then the day I went on the ride, I liked it. Like I think probably halfway through the film, or I was like, okay, this is that type of film. It's not supposed to be grounded. So if you accept that, then I think you should have some fun with it. I guess I was gonna talk a little bit about Hazel's character, right? I mean, she's interesting in that she's kind of like the third wheel friend who everyone overlooks a bit, but she actually contributes a lot, even though she does nerdy things like emails and stuff, and nerdy things like building bombs. Which she actually gave me in this scene some MacGyver vibes. I actually posted this on my Mastodon, that when she arms the bomb at the tree here. I don't know if it's like the vest or something, or in her haircut, it just gave me MacGyver vibes. Like couldn't she like play like a teenage MacGyver? And so the really bottomed is a prequel to MacGyver, and Hazel actually learns how to disarm bombs, and she learns how to like build things out of whatever she finds around her, and fix problems with just different knickknacks. I can't really find that scene. I think it's before this, right? Or actually, no, I'm going too far. But you get the idea. But yeah, Bottoms. Why not? Why not give it a go? I think it's a movie that I'll actually watch again. Like it's not. It's one of those movies I think I feel like I'll revisit. I'll probably watch it again soon too, just to, because I think like it benefits from like already knowing what's gonna happen, already putting your mindset and your putting, getting in that headspace of what this movie is giving. Like, I think will help with watching it again and enjoying it all the way through. Because like because of the tonal shifts, like it was a bit iffy on it early on in the movie. I felt like, I think particularly like the theatrical scene of like the post carnival and the jock getting hit by the car and him like screaming and just the over the top screaming and the friend coming in and screaming towards the camera that's rising up in the air. That dramatic shot. Like at that point, I wasn't quite sure if I was on board. I was like, okay, is this gonna be too kooky of a movie? But it won me over. It won me over, and so now, like watching it again, I think I like it even more. I think it will. Even going through it right now, like I don't know why I'm frozen on this picture here. Get out of here. Shit, I gotta restart it now. Okay, there we go. That's something else. I don't like this guy either. With all these creepers around. That's part of the movie. She gets confused with all the names of the hot people. And then another cool and interesting thing is that her, here she's complaining about her mother sleeping with the main guy. Even I forgot the name. Jake or something. Jeff, right? Jeff. In other movies like American Pie or something, like they would show that experience through the boy's perspective, and it would be kind of sexy and hot. But this is like is more of a joke and more of the idea of like, hey, this is actually pretty bad and shitty what's happening. this woman's taking advantage of this kid who was technically 18, so technically not, like at least it's legal, I guess. It's not illegal, but it's still, this older woman with this high schooler, and she does, even that actress does a lot with the little she's given. Like you get to know who she is pretty quickly, just with like her outfits and her few lines, the mannerisms, but so that's like it's just treated differently than it would have been in say 20 years ago. But yeah, I like how the movie, it's like edgy movie, but it's not like an edgy troll movie. You know, it actually has uh, a strong point of view that makes sense. That isn't mean spirited, or isn't like trying to be edgy for edgy's sake. You know, it's actually trying to say something about gender politics and all of it all. The gender politics of it all. Yep. That's bottoms, folks. And I didn't expect it to be, like I said, I didn't expect it to be so bloody. And I watched it. It's like yesterday because I was like, okay, I gotta watch this before Halloween, before October, because October I better be watching all these scary movies. But it turns out it got pretty bloody, so it kind of is a bit of a scary movie. Like instead of a slasher teen comedy, really, it's like instead of the teens being the victims, they're the ones who do the slashing, or at least the punching and the fight clubbing of it all. Yeah, this is the scene with the tree I was talking about. How Hazel just like is trying to like set up the bomb. She's like, "What is it? The yellow wire?" I think it reminds more of MacGruber maybe more than anything else, because that was a parody version of MacGyver. MacGruber, right? That's what it's called. Right here. Isn't that MacGyver? Young MacGyver, young MacGruber, young MacGruber. Maybe that's what it is. I don't I don't remember. That was like ages ago. How long ago was that?